basic philosophies of health and medicine. Basically, there's two philosophies, if you will, when it comes to health and medicine. The first one being creation, the second one being evolution. Now let's talk about creation. In the creation worldview, you believe that the body was designed by an all-wise creator, God. He designed the food supply to provide our needs. That would be the fruits, the vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, beans, legumes, and of course the herbs for healing our diseases, as we read in Revelations. And of course science confirms all of what the Bible has said, because we can observe that when people go on this type of diet, when they treat their body with plants instead of drugs, they get well, they get healed. This is confirmed by science. And that's observational science. And observational science confirms what the Bible is saying to be true. On the other hand, you have the philosophy of health and medicine from the evolutionary worldview, which says that the body is just a random collection of chemicals that formed by chance over billions of years, and that diseases should be treated with drugs and things like chemotherapy. Now, when people go on drugs, what do we see? We see that they get not cured, but they get sicker. They get sicker because it doesn't address the root cause of the problem. Because they've exchanged the truth for a lie. They started worshiping the creation instead of the creator. And instead of giving plants and herbs and addressing their diet to fix their health problems, they are looking to use chemicals and radiation to try to treat disease, which is illogical. And that's why people don't get well. That's why people get sicker. And that's why even if someone does somehow get well through chemotherapy or drugs, in most cases it comes back. Because again, they never address the root cause of the problem. Because they don't look at the body as something that was intelligently designed. They look at the body as, again, just a random collection of chemicals that developed over millions and billions of years. But of course, you can't observe that in a lab. That is something that you have to believe by faith, just as you have to believe creation by faith. But of course, the difference is in the fact that when you take the creation model and you apply that in the lab, when you can observe things and you feed people a specific diet and you give them plants and herbs, you see them get well. You see how it all comes together, how it all fits nice. But when you do that with evolution, when you give people drugs and when you put them under radiation, you see how dangerous it can be and how much damage it causes. So that's the difference between these two different basic philosophies of health and medicine. And it's really a big deal, because if people had the correct understanding of this, then of course we would treat people with using herbs and, natural foods and things like that. And of course there are people that do, and they get results. And it's a wonderful thing. But of course the evolutionary model, it doesn't help people. It makes a lot of people sick. A lot of people died because of this. A lot of people have been lied to. And it's just a really awful thing. So it's good to understand, that our worldviews, these two basic worldviews, can greatly impact on the choices and decisions that we make in our everyday life, and also how we interpret the evidence. See, creationists and evolutionists both have the same evidence. We all have the same sciences, but it's how we interpret those evidences that makes the difference. If somebody has cancer and they're looking at it through a creationist worldview, they might come to the conclusion, well, maybe it's because they're eating bad foods, they're taking drugs, they're doing unhealthy things in their life, and maybe that's what's causing them to have cancer. In the evolutionary worldview, they may totally overlook all of that and just believe that it's just because of chemicals and things, and you just are unlucky, and there's really no reason or purpose for why you have this problem. It really can't address and answer some of the most basic questions of human life. And it leaves people confused, and that's really all it is just a bunch of confusion. So, it shouldn't surprise people to hear about people going on these raw vegan diets and then them just miraculously getting younger and curing diseases, and being incredibly fit and healthy. Because obviously if we did have a creator and he did design us to eat those foods, then that would be a confirmation that, gee, it's true. But why should I believe, as a logical human being who uses my brain, to come to the conclusion that, oh, evolution must be true, so I'm going to treat my headache with a Tylenol instead of using white willow bark? Or, gee, I'm going to treat my cancer using, radiation instead of going to Hippocrates Health Institute and going on a green juice fast like Ann Wigmore. These are things you got to think about because it's really important. Creation and evolution isn't just something that philosophers or theologians or people talk about, but I believe it has a big impact too on the health of our body, because it really determines how we function and how we behave. What we think really determines how we're going to behave in society and in the world. And if we don't have the correct thinking, then it could lead us down a very deep and dark pit of doom and depression and destruction. So my job here on my channel is to help encourage and teach others and show others these things so that they can take control of their lives and be on a good path. So with that, take care. If you like this video, please like, favorite, and subscribe. And remember that God does love you. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever should believe on him should not perish but have everlasting life. God does not hate you. God is not a monster, but he does love you, and he loves his creation. He created us as free will human beings. We have responsibility to take care of our earth and each other, and we are to love one another. That is the second greatest commandment, is love your neighbor as yourself. And we need to encourage others, motivate others, and help others, and love others, and also be respectful of what other people believe. So with that, see you later. Bye.